Good evening, everyone. We welcome you all to yet another session of Diksha e-learning on encapsulating pediatric dermatology in Ayurveda by Dr. Srinath S. To invoke the Almighty, let's begin with the prayer song.
शुभं करोति कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिर्विनाशाय दीपज्योति नमोस्तुते. Before starting the session, I would like to go through a few of the basic instructions to be followed throughout the session. Any questions can be raised in the chat box. Questions raised in the link will be clear at the end of the session. For the best stability, use a laptop and a high-speed internet connection. If your video is on, make sure you are in front of a proper background. In case of any distraction, kindly check your internet connection and wait patiently for class to resume. Please make sure your microphone is on to have a disturbance-free session. Make sure you have your full name displayed so that it is professional. Next, I would like to invite Dr. Drishya PR, Assistant Professor, Department of Samhita and Siddhanta, the College Coimbatore, to deliver the welcome address.
Very good evening, everyone. Today we are here for the session on the topic encapsulating pediatric dermatology in Ayurveda. A warm word of welcome to everyone on behalf of Ayurveda College Coimbatore and Diksha. As we all know, Ayurveda College Coimbatore is conducting webinar series with the intent of active and interactive learning. It is a delight to have Dr. Srinath S, Deputy Chief Physician, Dhanvantari Ayurveda Bhavan Hospital, Nelluvai, Thrissur, as our guest speaker today. First and foremost, I would like to heartily welcome Srinath sir for a wonderful session. I feel honored to welcome all Vaidyas, PG scholars and students and all delegates to the session. I am sure that you all will feel enriched with knowledge after completion of this session. I welcome you all once again to the webinar and hope that you all will have a great time ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Before moving on to the technical session, I would like to say a few words about Dr. Srinath S. Dr. Srinath S completed his BAMS degree from VPSV Ayurveda College, Kottakkal with flying colors and pursued his post-graduation in Ayurveda Samhita and Siddhanta from Rajiv Gandhi University of Health Science. He is having 2 Arya Vaidya Shala dealerships and is the director and deputy physician of Dhanvantari Ayurveda Bhavan Hospital, Nelluvai. He is also the deputy director of Dhanvantari Institute of Dermatology, Nelluvai. He is also an active member of Pampa and BNI member of Thrissur area. He has presented many scientific papers in seminars and is well known in Ayurvedic fraternity. I would like to invite Dr. Srinath S for the technical section.
Hello, am I audible? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Can I start?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I need to share my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir, we can see the screen.
Okay. Shall we start?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
A very warm good evening, my dear doctors. Myself, Dr. Srinathas, as you have already heard. Uh, First of all, I would like to can you see? Hello?
Yes, sir. We can. Yes, sir.
I'm not seeing any video of participants of only my screen is I can see only my screen. Is it
Sir,
okay?
actually, yeah, sir, it is fine, sir. Actually, you are not a made co-host, sir.
Okay.
That's right.
So it's okay. Shall I
Yeah,
continue?
sir, fine, sir. Yeah, everyone is there, sir.
No,
We
no.
can.
Whenever can I use the chat box? Yes, sir. Here chat box is there. Okay, then okay.
Yeah, sir. Yeah.
First of all, I would like to take this opportunity to thank the Diksha e-learning facility and the Ayurveda College Coimbatore, my dear friends Drishya, Hita and others for giving me such an opportunity and a platform to share my knowledge regarding the pediatric dermatology in Ayurveda. And I would also think that you take this message and will do it in your practice. So moving on to my topic, encapsulating pediatric dermatology in Ayurveda. Before that, if any problem is there regarding my video or audio, please let me know. The first thing, why this title? Why I selected encapsulating pediatric dermatology in Ayurveda? We all know what is encapsulation. The encapsulation is the process of making something into a capsule. For that to happen, there should be a protective or there should be a layer or covering which is easily digestible or easily accessible. So here, the pediatric dermatology, which is a vast topic as we all think, is encapsulated inside Ayurveda. That means Ayurveda has all the details and explanations regarding pediatric dermatology. Only the thing is that we should think about it and we should study about it in detail. That Ayurvedic knowledge is to be encapsulated and understood the pediatric dermatology for proper practice. That is why I selected encapsulating pediatric dermatology. Ayurveda, being a life science, also tells us how to live, and the nidana of every diseases is clearly explained in Ayurveda in pediatric dermatology or Bala Chikitsa or Bala Visarpa aspect also. This thing is very relevant right now because Ayurveda has clearly explained all the details and all the explanations regarding the pediatric dermatology. So I am giving the pediatric dermatology a cover of Ayurveda, which is easily accessible and easily chewable or easily digestible to all of us. It's getting stuck. Moving on to the topic, we all know children are the heart and soul of a family and society. So diseases to them has now become a major concern. Bala Visarpa, what the term I usually use for this pediatric dermatology is one such disease and has now become a Okay, children are the heart and soul of a family and society. We all know that. We all have thought about children as ourselves, and that the diseases affecting children are really very much of concern to all of us. Bala Visarpa is one such disease and has now become a common disorder. Here, the term Bala Visarpa I am usually using is for the pediatric dermatology cases. This Bala Visarpa affects mainly the skin of children, and no classical texts are there describing Karpan or Bala Visarpa in detail. Karpan is a local terminology we usually use for Bala Visarpa or pediatric dermatology or clinical complications of skin in children. In clinical practices also, many doctors are finding it difficult to diagnose and properly manage the disease. Moving on to some of the basics. For everything or for every knowledge to be clearly understood, the basics has to be understood. And that is why I am going to the basics. What is dermatology? Dermatology is the coinage of two terms, dermat and logos. Dermat means skin and logos means study. A branch of medicines dealing with the skin, its structure, function and diseases affecting it is dermatology. And we all know skin is the largest organ or largest sense organ in our body, having 4 layers: epidermis, the outermost layer; dermis, the second; hypodermis, and muscular fascia. The epidermis itself is divided into other layers: stratum corneum, stratum lucidum, stratum granulosum, stratum spinosum, and stratum basale. The functions of skin, as we all know, are protection, sensation, excretion, and also the thermal stability is maintained through skin. Moving on to the Ayurvedic concept, when we are encapsulating something to Ayurveda, we should understand the basics of Ayurvedic skin also. In Ayurveda, the twak is called skin, and it has got layers like Avabhasini, Lohita, Sweda, Tamra, Vedini, Yogini, and Mamsadara. We all know hypodermis, dermis, like the divisions are there, and that divisions are clearly seen in this Ayurvedic classification also, because the lowermost layer, fascia is muscular fascia is there, and in Ayurvedic concept also, Mamsadara is a last layer of twak. So in Ayurveda also, the divisions of skin according to the modern terminology is clearly seen. And regarding the thickness of each layer, Avabhasini is 1/8 Vrihi Pramana in thickness, and Lohita is 1/16 Vrihi Pramana in thickness. Sweta is 1/12 Vrihi Pramana in thickness. Tamra again 1/8. Vedini 1/5. Yogini is Vrihi Pramana. And there some diseases are also occur at these layers. We all know Sitma, Patmaga, and Kandaga like thing are happening in the outermost layer. Tilaga, Vyanga, and Nechar occurring in the Lohita layer, second layer. Charmadala, Ajagalliga, Mashaga, etc. are happening in Sweta layer. Kilasa, Kushta in Tamra layer. Kushta, Visarpa in Vedini layer. Grandhi, Abaji, Galaganda, Arbuda, and Slibada are happening in Yogini layer. And the outermost, the chronic diseases like Bagandhara, Vidradi, and Arshas are happening in Mamsadara layer. What I intend to tell you about this is that whenever a children come with these type of diseases to us, we should know where it is happening in that body. For that, this knowledge is clearly needed. That is why the roga and the part affected by these roga should be understood by a Vaidya. We all know epidermis, hypodermis, and hypodermis are the 3 layers explained in the twak, and the muscular fascia is Mamsadara Kala in Ayurveda. Moving on to the next thing, these are the pictorial representation of our skin, where epidermis is the outermost layer, dermis is the second layer, hypodermis is there, and then muscular fascia is seen. Here, hair shaft, pores, stratum corneum, squamous cells, basal cells, sweat pore, hair follicles, artery, vein, etc. are all there. This is an anatomical representation of a skin. And moving on to the pediatric skin, there are 2 stages for a pediatric skin. One is maturation and the other is barrier development. The maturation starts from embryogenesis itself, and the barrier development starts from gestational age. That is why whatever food the mother is taking during the gestational period, it affects the skin of the child. That is why even though maturation starts from embryogenesis, the proper development, the proper barrier development, the proper protective mechanism of the skin is completed only by gestational age. We all know that the preterm babies have Lenugo and other some skin complications, and that should be corrected by incubation like that. That is the barrier development is doing in that clear. The maturation process of skin starts at birth with the skin getting adapted to dry outside environment. We all know after barrier development also the skin has to be developed, and this development of the skin is also known as maturation. This maturation is happening only through adaptation. That adaptation is through external environment. The first, we all know, whenever we are forced into a new environment, we will feel some problems. The same thing, the skin of the child also shows some reactions when brought to a new environment. That is why the maturation starts only, the maturation is completed only afterwards when the skin is getting adapted to dry outside environment. These are the two stages of pediatric skin development. Moving on to the difference between the adult skin and infant skin. In adult skin, the slower rate of water loss will be there, more natural moisturizing factors will be there, more melanin pigments will be there, the corneocytes will be larger, the stratum corneum will be thicker, and the epidermis will be thicker. This helps in the protective and increased immunity mechanism of adult skin. While the infant skin, the qualities of the infant skin are faster rate of water loss, less natural moisturizing factor. This causes the dryness of the skin of the children more. That is why the cases in most of the skin cases in children are, they are having dryness more in the body. The less melanin pigments will be there, so hypopigmentation and hyperpigmentation will be high. And the smaller corneocytes, thinner stratum corneum and thinner epidermis causes the infections and makes the skin of the child more prone to infections. These are the main differences between the adult skin and infant skin. This we should understand clearly because the same diseases affecting the skin of adult and the skin of infant are different, and we should approach both these cases differently. Also remember that children are kapha predominant stage, while in adults that differentiation is different. It only depends on the prakriti of the adult. These are some of the histological signs of blisters, or whenever there is a skin lesions occurring in the body of the people, some blisters or skin lesions will be there, and these are some of the histological signs. Just a slide I'm going on. And what is the importance of history taking in pediatric skin management? We all know in our OPDs or clinics, the patients are coming with the children saying that the child's skin is like this and child's skin is like this, and we are just seeing the morphologically and we are just seeing what the skin is. So to understand the properly diagnose and to properly treat the disease, history should be taken, because as we all know, the development of the pediatric skin starts from the gestational age itself. The maturation will be different, and also the barrier development will not be so high. So the proper history should be taken. The history has two parts: the disease history and the general history. The disease history we should take is that how the lesions happen, or how it started first, whether it is started like a macule, whether it is started like a papule, whether it is started like a crust or like that, we should ask. And that is the disease history, and how it spread, where it spread, and what are all the factors which cause the increase in the spreading of lesions. And the other is general history, because children being very small, we cannot properly communicate with the children, because so the bystanders or the father or mother are the main persons for us to communicate with the nature of the child. So the proper general history of the child should be taken, like what is the child's routine, what are the food the child is taking, what all things he do daily, like that, what all are the infections, what are his allergic parameters, like that we should take. So the importance of history taking is very much necessary and very much unavoidable in cases of pediatric skin management. So the disease history along with the general history of the child, mother, father and the family history should be taken properly, and also the gestational history should be taken. Because in nowadays many cases are there, or many cases are happening to children due to the improper food and nourishment of the pregnant ladies while they have conceived their children. So that history should also be taken clearly to understand and diagnose correctly the problems of the pediatric skin. Then only we should interpret, or we can interpret clearly for a correct, proper management of the skin complaints. Moving on, these are some of the basic things that are primary leakage lesions like macule, small black patch less than 1 centimeter diameter. Patches are the small black patch greater than 1 centimeter diameter. Papule is the plaques are the nodule, tumor, vesicle, bullate, pustules, pustular, and abscess and wheals. These are some of the primary lesions we usually see in children. Usually, the children came to us, or the parents show the children's lesions to us and tell that to treat. So we should understand what type of lesions is there, whether it is primary or secondary. And if it is primary, then we should go for other history taking and then we should interpret. And moving on to the secondary lesions, crust, scale, erosion, ulcer, exfoliation, fissure, lichenification, atrophy, sinus, scar, keratosis are there. Usually in our practices, usually in the initial stages, what we usually get is primary lesions. Secondary lesions are much more chronic, or they come to us only after many other treatments, and they will come to us only after many other treatments. And so these secondary lesions, when presented by a patient or child, it is easily correlated by taking the history. So the primary lesions we should understand clearly, and then only we should go for other parameters. Moving on to the difference between neonatal skin versus adult skin. First of all, I would like to get your concentration to the basics of Bala. That is, Bala, our children are Sukumara. Their dadus are not properly developed. They are not adapted to a new environment. They are getting adapted. So the changes and the skin complaints are more prone, and they have neonabala or less immunity. And the ratio of body surface area to weight is 5 times greater, and the very thin stratum corneum, as I told earlier, less hairy structure make them less protective. And the attenuated retinal causes the water loss too high, and this causes many skin lesions in child rather than in adult. So always remember that children are getting developed. They have not yet adapted completely as adults to the outside environment. So whenever there is a lesion or whenever there is a disease happening to a children's skin, we should avoid the nidana. We should treat according to nidana parivarjana, and then only we should move on to that dosha dusha samorchana vigadana or samprapti vigadana chikitsa. Moving on to the next thing, these are some of the clinical implications of pediatric skin. In pediatric skin, increased transepidermal water loss is there because of the less thicker stratum corneum and stratum corneum. Increased percutaneous absorption will be there, and increased thermal instability. Because of the improperly developed skin of the child, the variation in the cold and the hot environment may cause lesions or reactions in the body of the skin. That is why the frostbite, cold things like that are more common in children. Increased calorie demands. Since I told you that the child need more nutrition because they are less developed and they are in a developing stage of getting adapted stage, they need increased calorie demands. So whenever a child, whenever a mother or father is telling that the skin lesions are there, we should ask what is the diet of that child. So usually 75 to 80% of the cases, the parents tell us that the food they are taking is very less. They are not taking much food. So the increased calorie demands of that child is not getting equated by the food intake. So these increased calorie demands causes the development of pediatric skin problems, and also the compromised antimicrobial defense. As the immunity of the skin of the child is very less, they are prone to infections. So whatever be there, whether it is a virus or bacteria or any other thing, the chances of affecting or getting acted by these microbes are very high. And increased susceptibility to UV light. As we all know, as the transepidermal water loss is there and percutaneous increased absorption is there, the light and the sensitivity of the skin increases, and increased susceptibility to ultraviolet light will be there. Moving on to this thing, when we take the common disease affecting the skin of the children, 50% of them are due to infections. As we all told in the previous slide, in fact, the child are prone to infections because they have less immune power and less adapted skin. So the 50% of the diseases are due to infections, and the 25% are miscellaneous, like some other complications of the primary infections. Because so many diseases affecting to people are getting skin psychosomatic. So these somatic effect of that disease is seen in 25% of the child. Usually, when increased infection to the stomach or everything is there, these are usually produced in the child's skin by rashes or something like that. 50% are due to allergy, and 10% are due to climatic variations. I thank this because the slide I got, this is from Bale, the pediatric dermatologic specialist who have written books, which is very helpful to us all also. And these are some of the common skin disorders affecting the children. Atopic dermatitis, scabies, which is an infection of bacterial infection or viral infection, pediculosis, ringworm, candidiasis, napkin rashes, prickly, seborrhea, urticaria, pyodermas, molluscum contagiosum, erysipelas, and the more chronic skin tuberculosis. Psoriasis is not common, but it is also seen in small cases. Scalded skin syndrome, ichthyosis, hemangioma, epidermolysis bullosa, which is a very severe condition, erythema nodosum, acne. Acne is not seen in the small child, but after 10 to 12 years of age. Stevens-Jones syndrome and pemphigus. These are the common skin disorders. In these also we can see that majority of them are due to infections, and some of them atopic dermatitis like that due to allergy like that. The earlier classification is relevant in this slide also. These are clearly explained in Ayurveda. Moving on to age classification in Ayurveda. As we all using the term pediatric, we should have a clear definition. According to Ayurvedic science, in pediatric dermatology conditions, we are using Bala and not Kumara. In Bala, Vagbada, Charaka, Sushruta, Kashyapa, Harida, and everybody have described about Bala classification. Vagbada has classified age into Bala, Madhyama, and Vardhakya. Charaka has classified the same Bala, Madhyama, and Vardhakya. Sushruta, Bala, Yauvana, and Vardhakya. Kashyapa has classified more into Garbha, Bala, Kumara, Yauvana, Madhyama, and Vardhakya. In Harida and Arvi Kalpadruma, no Garbhavastha is not there, but Bala Avastha, Yauvana Avastha, Madhyama Avastha, and Vardhakya Avastha. So according to Kashyapa and Arvi Raksha Kalpadruma, up to 16 years of age, it is Bala. But nowadays it is not, we cannot correctly correlate it as relevant because after 13 to 14 years, we are treating them as adults and the prescriptions and dosages are also changing like that. Moving on to pediatric dermatology in Ayurveda. Whatever be the skin diseases affecting to the children, we can correlate it into either Kushta or Visarpa. But here, what I am going to tell you is that majority of the cases affecting the skin of children can be correlated to Visarpa because it is easily spreading. Shikrena Sarpadidi Visarpa, Visheshana Sarpadidi Visarpa. Pediatric skin being less adaptable and less immune, the chances of getting spreaded fastly and also the chances of getting infection easily can be correlated to Visarpa. So in pediatric dermatology, we usually go to skin disease as Visarpa rather than Kushta. Moving on to Visarpa, the classical reference, Pradak Dosha is Trayo Donde is Traya Egastavischatahi, Rektenega, Vishenega, Visarpa, Navadhasmada, 9 times. Sarveshu Mudroda, Prajara, Malina Nepra, Shova, Charu, Shicharu, Rupam, Sadharana. These are some of the general classifications of, or general complications or general features of Visarpa. That is Mudrodaha, Prajara, Malina Nepra. That is temperature to head or head temperature high. Prajara, fever will be there. Malina Netra or eyes are cloudy. Shobha or inflammation will be there. Anumshi or small skin lesions will be there. Are some of the common general symptoms we usually see in Visarpa. Moving on to the Ayurvedic texts, Brihat Rais, Lagut Rais, some of the traditional Kerala Ayurveda Bharat Yoga Chikitsa texts, Kashyap Samhita and Ayurveda Raksha Kalpadruma are there explaining about Visarpa and Kushta. Until this pediatric dermatology is considered, I prefer Ayurveda Raksha Kalpadruma because no other books have easily explained or clearly explained with its definitional treatment of Visarpa or Bala Yoga in rather than Ayurveda Raksha Kalpadruma. Kashyapa Samhita has explained about Visarpa, but it is of 9 types. Traditional Kerala Bala Yoga text has also explained, but I prefer Ayurveda Raksha Kalpadruma because it is clearly explained and When, as a doctor, we should all read Arogya Raksha Kalpadruma once, because we will get so many references. Gulatray and Levtray have also explained about Visarva, but according to the pediatric concept, it is not explained in Gulatrays and Levtrays. Moving on to Karapan. Usually, this Bala Visarpa in colloquial Arogya Raksha Kalpadruma text, it is called Karapan. So, whatever be the pediatric dermatologic cases, we can correlate it to Karapan in local timelines. Why the term Karapan is there? It is because the Nirukti of Karapan says that it is karandu thinnunnu, that is scratches and peeling of skin. It is karnu thinnunnu. It from top to bottom it eats and destroys the skin deeply, and it will give us blackish discoloration. That is why karuppu niram tharunnu, and it is also called Karapan. That is why Karapan term is significant in pediatric dermatology. And in Arogya Raksha Kalpadruma, when it divides or classifies different types of Karapans or Bala Visarpa, some Siddhantas are applied, like Loga Purusha Sadhvi Siddhanta, Upamana Pramana, Tridosha Vada, and Trivadamshada Vada are explained here. Moving on to classification of Karapan in different texts or Visarpa in different texts. In Charaga, the Visarpa or Karapan is described as Vadiga, Paitiga, Kabaja, Agni, Kartapa, Grandhi, and Sanivadiga. Vakuda has classified Visarpa into Vadiga, Paitiga, Kabaja, Agni, Kartapa, Grandhi, and Sanivadiga. Shushruta, Vadiga, Paitiga, Kabaja, Sanivadiga, and Shadaja. Kashyapa has classified into Vadiga, Paitiga, Kabaja, Vada Paitiga, Vada Pitta Kabaja, Vada Kabaja, Pitta Kabaja, and Sanivadiga. In Arogya Kalpadruma, another variety is added like Vadiga, Paitiga, Kabaja, Agni, Grandhi, Kartama, Ashini, and Rektashti, and Shalija. That is 9 types. All others has classified into 5 to 7 types, while Arogya Raksha Kalpadruma has classified it into 9 types. That is the relevance of Arogya Raksha Kalpadruma. And moving on to the Arogya Raksha Kalpadruma text. We should read this because pediatric dermatology is clearly explained in Ayurveda in the text Arogya Raksha Kalpadruma, because it is easily understandable and it is easily correlatable. We can easily go through and understand Bala Visarpa or pediatric dermatology through Arogya Raksha Kalpadruma. In Arogya Kalpadruma, Karapan is described in much detail. Here, Karapan I refer to Bala Visarpa or pediatric dermatology cases. A summative explanation of its types and treatment are clearly explained. Morphological basis of division of Karapan to 51 types is a highlight of this type. That is why I told us not only the basic classification of 9 types of Bala Visarpa according to dosha is there, but it is again subdivided into Loga Purusha Sadhvi Siddhanta Upamana Pramana to 51 types. That is why I told you to refer this for treating Bala Visarpa cases. Arogya Kalpadruma is a traditional text of Kerala written in 19th century. So we should always we might have thought that in the 19th century the situation was different. Here in this 21st century the situation was different. So the decisions of the Karapan must have been done according to the social and climatic aspects of that period and whether it is relevant till now. That is the message you will get after this presentation. In this 21st century, many changes have been occurred in social, cultural, and even habits of the society, which has its effect on diseases. The morphological divisions may also have significant changes due to this. So, a reinterpretation of the concept of disease in Arogya Kalpadruma is essential for the proper diagnosis and treatment of the diseases. And moving on to the basics of Ayurveda, whenever we are dealing with a case or dealing with a classical disease for understanding or diagnosing, we should go for dosha, dusha, bala, kala, anla, prakriti, sattva, satya, ahara, balam, dosham, dusha, balam, kalam, anlam, prakriti, sattva, satya, dasavidha parisha should be there. So in pediatric dermatology, when we are moving, thinking about that in an Ayurvedic way, we should go through the doshic level divisions of pediatric dermatology. The basic classification of skin divisions of Bala Visarpa or Karapan or pediatric dermatology cases is Vadiga, Paitiga, Kabaja, Vada Vaitiga, Vada Kabaja, Pitta Kabaja, Sani Vadiga, Recta, and Vishaja. Here I am taking Arogya Kalpadruma as its reference. There are 8 types of Vadiga Visarpa, Vadiga Karapan, 16 types of Paitiga Karapan, 21 types of Kabaja Karapan, 1 Vada Vaitiga, 1 Vada Kabaja, 1 Pitta Kabaja, 1 Sani Vadiga, 1 Recta, and 1 Vishaja. And there are 8 more divisions to Vadiga Visarpa according to Upamana Pramana. That is, the term itself shows us why it is termed like that. Because in these 8 types of Vadiga Visarpas, The lesions will look like the name. That is why the Upamana Pramana we usually use here and for naming the diseases. That is 8 types of Vadika Visarpas are Tilaga, Dhanyaka, Kalyuga, Kapila, Renuga, Sharaga and Nila Visarpa. Here the Vadajara Visarpas, Vadajara Sarabya. That is the general features of this Vadika Visarpa is that tingling sensation of Spuranam will be there, throbbing sensation of Thodam will be there, ramming pain in the disease or Bhedam will be there, stretching sensation or possess the symptoms described for Vadika Jara. That is why history taking I recommend, because in history taking we should understood by asking the parents what are the problems affect the children are showing with this disease. That is, they are having the Vadika Jara symptoms like no specific pattern. It will go up and down fever. Sometimes fever increases, sometimes decreases. Different types of pain in the body parts. Face, tongue, and skin shows dryness and roughness. Tinnitus will be there. Feeling of bitter taste, thirst, sleeplessness. The child will be restless and there will be no sweating. The child will be shivering. These are the common features of Vadika Visarpa, which are of 8 types. Now moving on to whether you will think that whether it is can be seen right now. These type of 8 types of Vadika Visarpa are theoretically it is all there. We can also read and I can also read. But whether it is available or whether it will be available to our, whether we will see that kind of cases in our OPDs. And that I can show you that these are some of the Karpan cases of Vadika came to our IPD. That is Dhanyaka Visarpa. You can all see that the lesions are similar to Dhanyaka, and that is it is called Dhanyaka Visarpa. Here Tilaga Visarpa or Tilaga type. That is why it is called Tilaga Visarpa. This is Kapila Visarpa or Kapila Visarpa, and this is Kapisha Visarpa. The name itself indicates the nature of the lesions, and also Kapisha and Kapila here this. And moving on to Neelam and Renuga. Renuga means that when we throw the dust like that, the pattern will be like this, and that is Renuga Visarpa. This is Khalya Visarpa, and this is Ksharaga Visarpa. So we can easily see these type of lesions in our OPDs. And moving on to the next type, Paithika Visarpa. There are 16 types of Paithika Visarpas. Mashaka Visarpa, Marija Visarpa, Kola Visarpa, Krivigna Visarpa, Udumbara Visarpa, Chinjapaga Visarpa, Valli Visarpa, Lohida Visarpa, Pravalaga Visarpa, Charavaga Visarpa, Rasala Visarpa, Jadila Visarpa, Kandagi Visarpa, Vidumala Visarpa, Valpiga Visarpa, and Ushara Visarpa. And the general symptoms are speedily spread all over the body, and the Pitta Jara symptoms will be that is spreading of Jara to all parts at the same time and fastly, irrelevant talking, Kadurasa in mouth. In the area there will be no taste, and here is Kadurasa. Inflammation in nose and mouth will be there. Likings to fall, restlessness, fainting, diarrhea, vomiting bile, blood in sputum, acid belching will be there. Yellowish or greenish color in skin, eyes, nails, etc. will be there. Excessive sweating will be there. Bad smell will be there, and excessive thirst. These are some of the Pitta Jara features, and these can be clearly seen in Paithika Visarpa Paithika lesions. Moving on to the OPD level research, I got these type of Paithika Karpan OPDs. That is Chinjabala. Look clearly to the lesions, and here we can see that the lesions are similar to Chinjabala, and that is why it is called Chinjabala. This is like Kandaga, and that is why it is called as Kandaga Visarpa. Some changes will be there that I will talk to you in later stages. This is Krivigna, and this is Kola. Like Kola fruit, it is the lesions will be like this. And this is Marija Visarpa. These small lesions will be there like this, like Marija Visarpa. And here it is Lohita Visarpa. The inflammation will be high, and it is the color will be Lohita. Moving on to Pravalaga Visarpa. And this is Rasala or Mambu Karpan we say. Because we say whenever you take Malay a lot of mangoes, the chodanga will be in our outside the mouth, and that is called Mambu Rasala or we will say Manga Karpan, and this lesions is similar to that, and it is called as Rasala. And here the lesions are similar to Pravalaga and called Pravalaga Visarpa. And this is Vidumala, Udumbara, and Sharavaga. The lesion is similar to Sharavaga and it is called Sharavaga Visarpa. These are all Paithika type of Visarpas. And moving on to Kabaja, which is of much most 21. That is because the children being the Kabaja stage, Kabaja Visarpa will be high. The lesions with Kaba predominant stages will be high. That is why it is of 21 types. So altogether in Arogya Raksha Kalpatrupa, 51 types of pediatric pediatric dermatological conditions are clearly explained. Yava, Drona, Valsaga, Patmaga, Zangura, Sobana, Uma, Harida, Halaga, Padala, Gogura, Modaga, Ulbuda, Sringi, Sashava, Chandraga, Avitaga, Kirada, Varigarbha, Mastula, and Amsaga types are there. And here the general symptoms will be itching with clamminess. Signs and symptoms described to Kabaja Vera will be there like increased tastelessness, lassitude, sotoroda, sweet taste in mouth, decreased intensity of jara, watering of eyes, heaviness of chest, nasal block, vomiting, cough, constipation, white coloring eyes, lips, nails, and urine, small whitish patches in the body. These are some of the general features. Moving on to the OPD level research or OPD level statistics of Kabaja Visarpa cases. Here Drona and Mastula is there. It is somewhat similar, but the inside in Mastula there will be a watery mastu like liquid, and that is called Mastula Visarpa. The Drona Visarpa is there. Here Chandraga Visarpa is there. And the next is Harida Visarpa. Atopic dermatitis, or in one stage of atopic dermatitis, it can be correlated to Harida type. And this is Kogura Visarpa. The lesions, the white patchy lesions can be correlated to Kogura Visarpa. This is Patala Visarpa, and this is Patmaga Visarpa. Patmaga Visarpa. Moving on, this Kirada Visarpa. Here we can clearly see that the Kirada like lesions are there in the skin. And this is Mandala Visarpa, the circular in patches, and the lesions spread via Mandala or circular type, centripetally. And this is Ulbuda Visarpa, and this is Sobana Visarpa. The Sobana term here itself, whenever we go inside the temple, the floor of that temple is like this, with so many ridges and like that. The foot of the child is similar to Sobana, and that is, it is called as Sobana Visarpa. Here Asmaga or stony like Visarpa will be there, and this is Phalaga Visarpa or plate like or Phalaga type or wooded divisions like Visarpa. Moving on to the other types, this Yava type of Visarpa, this is Shashavada type of lesions. This is immune deficiency YP patches, which is similar to the Shashavada or rabbit foot, and clearly seen the features like this, and it can correlate to Shashavada, and this is Valsaga. The name itself indicates the type of lesions, and we should understand it and properly diagnose the dosing in organ and treat according to that. And moving on to the next is that Vada Pitta or Sanibadiga type. Vada Pitta or Agni Visarpa in Malayalam we take it as T Karapan. Other is Vada Kappa type, Grandhi